Right, hello people. So yesterday I picked up this. This is a 2006 Kawasaki KLF 300. I also got that parts KLF 300 with it, which was the sketchiest load I've ever had in my 6x4 trailer with two of these on end. But yeah, anyway, so this is a 2006 KLF. It's not in the best of shape, but it's not too bad. It says it's only got 3,000 odd miles on it. I don't know if that's accurate. The story with this is that it belonged to a dairy farm. They ran 3 of them, one of which was still in very good nick, which they've sold quite a long time ago. This was in sort of the middle condition of the two. Apparently it was running and driving fine until he hit a fence post quite hard on that side. As you can see, the wheel is decently cocked. You can't see when I put it down on the ground quite so much. Well, you can quite a bit, to be fair. But there's some damaged suspension components in there, which is why they stopped using it. Supposedly, it should run and drive fine, except from that issue. It is also missing a prop shaft for the front. I don't know if anything's actually on it, or remaining, should I say. No, so there's nothing at all, no yokes or anything left on there, and nothing on there, just the guard for the prop. But it turns over with good compression. It's missing its fuel cap, so it's got water in the tank, so I'll have to drain that out. No doubt the carb will be disgusting on it. Rear handbrake doesn't work. Hydraulic brake does work. It feels like it's got some decent pressure in there. Seat's pretty torn up. But yeah, it'll be a cheap little bike for somebody. 5-speed manual with high and low. And this is the parts one I picked up with it. This is missing quite a lot of stuff. This is actually for sale on eBay right now if you want it. It's missing the rear shock. It's missing the fuel tank. It's missing a bunch of components for the front end on this side. As you can see, I will be swapping probably some components for the other bike as well if I can repair it. However, the knuckle seems to be missing, so I might have to buy one for the other bike. This is supposedly a runner, but I can't really say. It's got the engine and the gearbox in, as well as the front and rear diff and swing arm. It's got all 4 tyres with it, which are in decent nick. So yeah, today I'm going to have a look at this. First of all, I'm going to pop that wheel off and see what's damaged on it. See if I can swap it off that parts one before it goes to anybody. Then I'm going to try and get it running. I did put a booster pack on it last night, and all the lights did come on. But it was just clicking, so it probably needs a solenoid unsticking or even a new solenoid. Don't know what the crack is with all this here. I hope that's not going to cause me a spark problem, because these are notorious for spark problems, these are. It came from Aberystwyth. So yeah, I'm going to be investigating that, and then I'll come back to you. Right people, so we've made some progress on it. I've got the hub off. An upper and lower control arms, you can see. They were quite bent. So that's our lower control arm. Look at the state of that. That's bad. I mean, if we compare it to the good one over here, look. Look at that. Look how bent that is. So that's definitely the problem. You know you're working on a farmer's bike when you find a sheep hoof in the plastics. I don't know what it is with these KLFs, but every single one I have has just been hammered. I don't know if it's the dairy farmer's favourite or what, like, but every single one. This shaft needs 2 new CV boots. I've got to look at the back of the diff because this is floppy as anything. I'm not sure if that's just play or whether there's a UJ hidden in the cover. I'll have to have a look. But the main problem we've got now is, can you see that? That's one of the mountings to the low control arm, and during the impact it snapped. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut one off that parts bike and weld it onto this. So that's sort of bugging me with the suspension on it now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to investigate whether that diff is actually gone at the back, and if it is, I'll swap it with the parts bike. I'll cut all this nastiness off. I'll cut the 2 CV boots off and clean them up. I'll clean the frame up and see if there's any actual rust on it rather than just a snapped mount. But at the moment now I'm trying to get it running. I've taken the tank off, drained all the old fuel out of it. well, it wasn't really much old fuel, it was mainly water, to be honest. But now I've got fresh fuel in it, it's coming through. There's no bloody cap on it, so I'm just having to use that wet towel. It's not really doing that good a job at stopping the fumes, to be honest. But I've got the jump pack hooked up, and we are getting power to it. Reverse light comes on, we kick it into reverse. Horn works, sort of. We've got some lighting going on. So, but now when I try and start it, I just get in clicking. Can you hear that? So the solenoid's stuck. I've tried giving it a good tap with this little hammer, but it's not unstuck it, unfortunately. There is one on this bike, just hanging loose there, so we'll swap that over. But this is another reason I don't particularly like these KLFs, is all the electronic stuff is shoved way up there, difficult to get to. So that's going to be a right pain to do, especially when it's absolutely rancid, covered in mud. So yeah, I'm going to swap that solenoid and see if I can get it going, and then I'll be back. Okay, so it's time for an update now. I switched that solenoid on the back, but it's made absolutely no difference. It was still clicking. I mean, looking at the state of that one, it's hardly a surprise, is it? But I've got the jump pack straight onto the starter now. I had some trouble trying to get it to actually go and just do nothing. So I thought, oh my god, the starter's dead as well. But I tried it on this one and it was doing exactly the same thing. But in the end, all it took was just cleaning up the oxidised aluminium, and I did get them to go. This starter was stuck, but I freed it off, and now it is operational. But this can't go back into this engine, unfortunately, because Kawasaki, in their stupid wisdom, you probably can't see this. See if I can get a light on. No, I can't. But in there, it's just like a drive cog that's on a chain. So that's all floppy in there now. So that starter will not go back in unless you take that side cover off. It's not my problem because it's going as a parts bike, so whoever buys it can do what they want with it. But if you ever got to change a starter, it's a massive job compared to what it should be. But anyway, that's by the by. While I'm on that topic, another stupid thing that Kawasaki do is the lower control arms, they run the brake hose through them. And unlike Yamaha, it's just a clip that you can bend or whatever. These are actually welded. So you either have to take the hose off the brake caliper, and then you've got to bleed all your brakes, or you've got to cut the things off. I mean, I'm just going to cut them off and then use cable ties or something. I'm not re-bleeding all the brakes just to replace an upper control arm. I wish I'd jet washed this before I started. It's absolute filth in here now. But anyway, yeah, I tried to start it, but it wouldn't go. Turned out the fuel wasn't quite getting through enough, so I gave the tap another bit of a clean. But I've just discovered that the choke cable, I thought it felt a bit odd, and it's non-operational. If you can see, the choke cable is there. I need some better lighting in my workshop, don't I? But the choke cable is there, and obviously that is doing absolutely nothing when I move it back and forth. So I need to get a pair of pliers on that, pull that out and reattach it, and hopefully we'll get a bit more life out of it then. So yeah, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so this is going to be another quick short clip, but that choke cable is completely seized. I don't hold that much hope for the carburetor, because if we look at the end of that, it's covered in that gunky, horrible old fuel type stuff. But thankfully that one over there again has come to the rescue. It's got a good choke cable on it. This is completely free. It's also got a carb on it, but I'm not going to change that just yet because it also looks pretty gunky. I'm going to take this off, fit this choke cable, see if it's any better, but I highly doubt it will do anything. And then the next step will be to take the carburetor off and have a good look inside. So yeah, again, I'll see you in a bit. Right, so it was a bit of a pain to try and get the choke cable in, so I decided to just go ahead and take it off and look at that. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but this was absolutely full of water. Quite a lot of water came out of it. The fuel tap was actually off when I got it, but somebody must have left the fuel tap on while the tank was open. Needle in seat is moving, look. So hopefully it was just jammed up with water and it couldn't get anywhere because of these jets. But we'll take the jets out quickly and I'll see if we can show you. I haven't got any carb cleaner, so I'll have to run to town tomorrow to get some. But we'll just whip the carburetor apart quickly. Yeah, so pretty much every jet is blocked. So that's the secondary jet, look. That's completely blocked. This is the main jet. Again, completely and utterly blocked. That's the second part of the main jet, which is quite blocked. Not too bad because it hadn't sat in water so long, but still needs a clean. The rest of the carb down there doesn't look too terrible. So, but yeah, the plan now is this will be the end of the video today. I'll upload this evening, and then hopefully there'll be a second part tomorrow. So yeah, subscribe if you like, because it does actually take me a bit of time to do all these clips and edit them together. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.